Hi and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben, and this is my movie review for a film that's just popped onto Netflix worldwide. It's called RRR, or Rise Revolt. No, let me get this right. Rise Roar Revolt. And it's one that over, I think, a span of a year between when the trailers came out, when the film actually came out, before it was on Netflix, I have had been inundated by fans of the film that's saying, please review this film. And recently someone said on my channel, hey, it's now on Netflix worldwide, are you going to check this out? And I thought, I'll put it on the list and have a go. I've seen it. So let's talk about it. A fictitious story about two legendary revolutionaries and their journey away from home before they started fighting for their country in 1920s. So the story starts out about this, I think it's in the British era. Mali, a small tribal girl, is taken away by a British governor, Scott Buxton, and his wife, Catherine, against the wishes of the parents. So we have these two main protagonists. I'm not even going to try and pronounce their names in Indian because I'll get it wrong and I'll upset people. So we have these two main protagonists from different walks of life, but kind of the same walks of life. One is working for the British government. He wants to get up there. He wants to be recognized for his works. And then we have this, I guess this other guy, tribal, not leader, but tribal warrior. He is the guy that looks after everybody. And when this young girl is taken by the British governor, he kind of goes off to go and retrieve her. But his first port of call isn't violence. It's just to kind of retrieve it in a good way until he's forced into a violent situation. Then we have the other side where he's got to do what he's told to get where he wants. So the guy that's working for the British Army. It's over 3 hours long, and I did watch it in multiple parts, probably 3 parts actually. The first hour is epic enough and feels like a film that you've watched because it introduces our two characters and spends ample time with those two characters. I don't think you get the credits to this film until you reach the 45 minutes in. It also does there is singing sort of Bollywood style. There is a proper like dance number, a couple of dance numbers, one at the end, one in the middle, and one that really fits well. I thought there's one dance kind of music number that there was a key emotional moment happening with one of our characters, and it was growth. And I do love the way the lyrics of the song tell you what's happening in the movie at the time. It's really storytelling within music. So I didn't feel like this is one of those films with music in it. The lyrics that you are finding in within the 3 hours of this film, when there is singing, I think fit the film, and you understand it. It expands the story more. It's not just there for the sake of it. Now we're going to add a dance number. But for those that like hate films like that, you may get a little bit annoyed. But I think there's enough for you to like, oh, okay, this is only a couple of minutes, and then they get straight back into the story. Also, just kind of ticking things that I noticed through the film. It has the most amount of slow motion in a film I have ever seen. In fact, most action sequences are in slow motion of some kind, but it seems to work. Like within the action, there's a lot going on. Also didn't expect the crazy amount of wire work that we got in this. I also didn't expect the crazy amount of extras. This is an epic film in every proportion. From what you get on screen, from what you are seeing, to how they would have choreographed the fight sequences with what is going on around them. I will say that the one letdown, though, is the CGI with animals. In parts, it looks good, but there's a lot of times where it'll kind of take you out of it. And not that it's all the time, but there's a good chunk of the film in parts where there's animals involved. And there's this warnings like no animals were harmed in the making of this movie. And then the wire work I thought was really good. The choreographed action scenes were stunning to look at, were really fun. Wasn't expecting the proportion, the size of the movie. I do love the grand scale and the story. But at the heart of this film is two best friends. And the first, I would say, hour and a half really concentrates on their friendship. They're still trying to do their things individually, but they become like bestest buds. And so when they are having to go and do their own things, which kind of puts them against each other, which was obvious from the beginning and the synopsis, you're feeling for the characters. Now, there are definitely moments I was just like, wow, who are these characters? Because it takes hero type arc characters, our two main protagonists, and gives them basically like superpowers. Because what they're able to do, they're basically two men that could fight armies on their own. It's that sort of one character is almost like a Tarzan character with superpowers, and then we have a military man who has been imbued with amazing martial arts, but every punch will send a guy flying with wire work. Or you can pick up a motorbike and chuck it. There are moments like that it's definitely a film that centers on a story that has a gut punch. And living in the UK and being British myself now, I was like, yeah, the history of the Brits with the Indian culture, if you go way back, even though this is a fictitious story, there's a lot of truth to the story. I would say that the worst thing about this film, if I had to pick one thing, is the accents for the British people and the way they make them talk. It feels like it was... I've seen a lot of films where British people, they speak like they're stuck in an era and never really moved on from that. It also feels like the scripting for the English bits was very stunted. Now that was for me. I cringed almost every time a British person or an actor would act like a British person. Now the accents are terrible some of the time and are possible some of the time, but it's the dialogue that goes with it that just isn't great. Where this film shines is in its natural language, in the cinematography, which is excellent, in the adventure and the story it's trying to tell, and embracing the massive embellishment, like the craziness of what they're trying to portray on the film. So when they're doing those action sequences, when you have those hero slow moments, or people flying about on wire work, or the heroes landing but in slow-mo, and you have the counter opposite. One character is like fire is kind of his element, and the other one is kind of water, and when those two contrast or work together, it's amazing. It's really fun. I would definitely say if you've never experienced an Indian movie that has like in epic proportions, definitely one to put on your radar, like as a first time watch. I think it'll be interesting to see how people in Britain even react to this. But if you love Indian films and if you haven't seen it before, I would definitely say put this on. It is actually a very good film. Apart from those like little negatives, I think it won't bother you too much because you'll be invested in the characters. Definitely worth a watch. I'm going to get this 4 Nicolas Cages out of 5. I wasn't expecting to, even with the length. But with the way it looks, it looks brilliant. It looks beautiful at times. I love the characters. I was invested in the story. I wanted them to win. I wanted them to save the day. I didn't care that they were basically superheroes in their own nature. And the accents with the British and the dialogue, I just kind of forgot about. And then by the time we got to a musical number, I was all in. So let me know your thoughts down below. Thanks so much for watching this, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.